ORS, or the Observer Reporting Server, is an excellent way to organize and present data in a web-based approach. It's simple yet robust, allowing multiple users to view the content in a simple traffic light or red, yellow, green based on performance. The graphs and the business groups are configurable. Some of the configuration reports I have here are the application performance summary, application performance by server, by response time, and we see some red inside of here. With HTTP, this is the aggregate application performance. So I'll drill down on this and let's take a look at the application performance by server, in this case the HTTP servers. As this is coming up, I have a graph so I can look at traffic volumes, and again, these are all graphs that I've configured, so this is what I want to see. With the application server by response time, now I'm able to see that 199.195 was not performing that well. And in the graph down below too, I see the average response times. You can configure the maximum, minimum, average, and the network delay on here too. So we can see 294 milliseconds versus an average of 36 milliseconds for network delay for this server .107. We can further drill down in the graph and look at the clients. So server to client application performance. And we can see that 107 was talking to 147, and I'll bet .147 is not all that happy about the performance. We can continue to drill down all the way into the Gigastore itself and look at deep packet inspection. With this in mind, let's jump over to the Gigastore view from Observer Suite. On the right-hand side, we've attached to our Observer, and this is our Observer control panel. The top view is the micro view, bottom is macro. This is configurable screen resolution down to nanosecond with burst resolution, or up to, if storage permits, a 8-hour, 8-week screen. The Gigastore is available between 2 terabytes up to 288 terabytes with the option to put in a SAN card so you can capture virtually unlimited to a SAN storage. Let's go ahead and maximize our real estate space here by turning off the View Probes list and focusing on the Gigastore. Now down below we do have graphs and charts, and these are all configurable up in the settings menu. So you can go over to your report setup and configure exactly what you want to see, whether it's IP pairs with port addresses, maximum sent, maximum received, several different options here. I've created an average utilization summary report and set that as my home report. Let's go take a look at what we found. My MAC stations, bytes transmitted, TCP applications, bytes transmitted, and I can pull this down. Let's take a look at our applications in use. And this is what was seen by the Gigastore in packets and overall utilization. So I see some CIFS, SMB, some HTTP. I can further drill down on my HTTP from this view or pull down the menu. And I see my top talkers here. So let's look at HTTP, and I'll look over at applications and pull up my IP application pairs. Now we can pull down and see their graphs, or you can look at the application pairs by DNS name or IP addresses and see how much utilization they put onto the network. We can further drill down all the way into the packet inspection. Several tabs are available where you can click on IP stations, for example, sort on your top talkers by bytes or packets. You can click on the different top talkers, click Update Chart, and this will affect the chart, give you a legend based on what those users were doing. And you can look at the independent user traffic per device that you've checked. If I want to drill down into the packet inspection on these, I can come up and click on Analyze, analyze all that traffic during the time period, analyze based on a previously configured filter in Observer, or create a filter based on the IP entries that I've checked. Click OK. Let's jump over and come over to TCP Events. I can look at my response times, and with the response times, I'm seeing, this is interesting. With HTTP traffic, I have 115 conversations between these two IP addresses with well-known port 80 for HTTP. I have a rather large application response with a short network delay. So I'd like to go into more detail on this. Being that I've clicked and highlighted this line, I can come up to select pair individual conversations, or I can right click and do the same by showing individual connections. Now each of those 115 connections are listed separately in their own line. We can continue to sort on response time, and I see that my network delay is still relatively low. So let's see this in a graphical format by connection dynamics. With the connection dynamics, I'm able to look at a bounce diagram left to right. So I see the original SYN packet, the SYN ACK. Dropping down here to packet 4 of this stream is my HTTP GET. And packet 5 comes back with an ACK sub-second very quickly. That ACK is, though, for the push bit that's set. Down in packet 6, I see my HTTP reply status 200 OK, and that's almost 5 seconds later, which is not really great performance. So we could right-click inside of this graphical display and jump into the decode packet. We can reconstruct the HTTP stream to see what the user was seeing. But let's jump over to the application transaction analysis. Application transaction analysis is a great tool. It looks at the layer 7 content and provides us with the 100, 200, 300, whatever application layer 7 codes exist for that application. So given HTTP, we will see the servers that are configured with their gets and success responses, as well as redirections, etc. Down under Web 2, I see a 500 internal server error. So we want to find out what that error was caused by. Let me right-click on this and do a show packet list. Here's my request and response packets. I'm going to right-click and jump over to the response packet. And when I do the response packet, I'll see my 500 internal server error. Pulling down the decode view, we're able to quickly assimilate this with a 500 internal server error. And if I continue down a little bit further, I can see I'm using Microsoft IIS 5.0. And here is my SOAP request with the failed invalid session token that's causing the issue. At this point, I can come up to the Tools menu and drop down to the Print Packet Capture. You probably don't want to print off almost 94,000 packets, but you can just put in this 61,675 and print off just this packet information to take over to the application developers. In brief, what we've done is we've taken a look at OR's reports at a high level, found the red traffic light that shows HTTP port performance, drilled down into the deep packet inspection inside of the Gigastore, and quickly used ATA to figure out what's happening from a HTTP perspective with the application servers.